From Royal Communications Incorporated, good evening and welcome to King's News Broom 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Today is Wednesday, July 23, 2025, and I'm Sherman Dia presenting. In the headlines, Bapolo County Senator Amara Kone accuses members of the executive branch of government of lack of tolerance and reconciliation. Says Liberian politics has become polarized under the Unity Party-led government. Nadmo Panda's executive director challenges President Joseph Boakai to present his government signature project to the public. Eddie Jawolo claims for nearly 3 years the government is unable to initiate its own project. And also in the news tonight, Ministry of Justice announces implementation of 25 years contract signed with Lebanese company Liberia Transport Management despite ongoing protest and abrupt shutdown of Ministry of Transport over disagreements. Away from home, an Ethiopian official has denied Donald Trump's claim that the United States helped fund Ethiopia's new mega dam on the River Nile, saying it is false and destructive. Sudan's oil-rich Kordofan region has turned into a major front line in the war between the army and rival paramilitary forces as both sides try to gain the upper hand in a conflict that has devastated the vast African state for more than 2 years. This plus the news bulletin, voices of those making the news at our package will take a short break to be right back. Welcome back at this juncture. We join Sam and Juice with the news bulletin.
Bapolo County Senator Amara Conan has attributed lack of tolerance to officials of Unity Party-led government, adding that the Liberian politics is becoming too polarized under the Unity Party-led government. Senator Conan, who supported President Boakai during the 2023 election, appeared to be in disagreement with the government over what he termed an abrupt change of previously promised inclusive governance. According to him, the act of the government failing to give credit or acknowledge projects that were initiated by the WIA government and completed by the Boakai government lacks a sense of reconciliation and promotion of continuity in national governance. The Bapolo County Senator, in an interview on OKFM Tuesday, said, "It's saddening to see Liberians continuously hurting each other due to politics, accusing officials of the government of doing different from what was promised." Senator Amar Kone also criticized the government for what he called making commissioners of the Liberia Telecommunication Authority, who served during the WIA-led government, to resign under an agreement to allow the government accommodate new commissioners on party lines without resigned commissioners being paid up to now. He further reiterated his consideration of a tier force in the Liberian border politics, adding that Unity Party-led government is yet to prioritize national reconciliation and inclusive governance that will afford every Liberian the space. Neighborhood Partners for Democratic Development Executive Director Eddie Jawolo has challenged the Unity Party government to present its signature project, adding that for nearly 3 years in power, a signature project of the government is unknown. The NEMOD executive director also urged the Unity Party government to improve transparency, accountability, and deliver concrete development outcomes. He condemned the communication approach of former ruling CDC, pointing to projects including the Emory Hospital as examples of former ruling party poor public information management, thus challenging the Unity Party-led government administration to specify any tangible achievements since taking power. Eddie Jaulo criticized members of the legislature for doing little or nothing that would significantly impact Liberians, warning that without proper training through a parliamentary school like those in Ghana and Sierra Leone, Liberia is headed nowhere under the Unity Party government. Eddie Jaulo described lawmakers as lacking direction, labeling them as more politicians detached from effective governance. In response to recent comments made by House Speaker Richard Cohn on women's representation, the NEMOT executive director supported the adoption of proportional representation to boost women's participation in the national legislature. Eddie Jaulo, in an interview Wednesday, said, "What CDC government lacked was effective communication, which resulted to many people not being informed, emphasizing that going into 3 years, the United Party-led government cannot point out to the public its signature projects." The Ministry of Justice has begun the implementation of an agreement signed with Liberia Management, Traffic Management Incorporated, a Lebanese company. Liberia Transport Management was awarded a 25-year contract by the Unity Party government, shifting all vehicle registration and driver licensing responsibilities to the private Lebanese firm. The government's action has since sparked protest among employees and authorities of the Ministry of Transport, who have accused the government of breaching the ministry constitutional mandate. In a statement dated July 14, the Ministry of Justice disclosed that the ongoing government initiative was introduced in 2018 under the Coalition for Democratic Change-led government, but remained ineffective due to legal complications, something authorities of the Ministry of Transport believe could deprive the country of revenue generation. The Ministry of Justice also announced that the activation of Liberia Traffic Management contract implementation follows a Supreme Court ruling on May 28, clearing legal barriers that had temporarily stalled the agreement execution. According to the Justice Ministry statement, the Liberia Traffic Management Incorporated will finance, transfer a nationwide traffic management system during the course of the project implementation. The statement added that as part of the agreement, the private entity will conduct driver testing and certification, license issuance, vehicle registration, inspection, and ticketing, among others. In a related development, former Representative Kennedy District 16 Maserado County has called on President Joseph Boakai to halt the outsourcing of the vehicle registration from the Ministry of Transport to the Liberia Traffic Management. Achisano emphasized the Liberianization policy, stating that outsourcing the registration of vehicles to foreign company constitutes the surrendering of 12 million United States dollars annually in annual income to a foreign company, which will only give $1.5 million in a year. Achisano advised the government to avoid giving grounds to individuals who are interested in enriching themselves at the detriment of the Liberian people, adding that Liberia traffic management deal appears to benefit few and negatively impact the larger society. Mr. Sano pointed out that outsourcing the Department of Vehicle Registration will cause losses of jobs for Liberians. He made the assertion Wednesday at a press conference on the Boatful Island. The Environmental Protection Agency, in partnership with the U.S. government, has officially dedicated its newly renovated headquarters in Monrovia, reportedly valued at 75,000 United States dollars. Authorities of the Environmental Protection Agency termed the renovated project as part of government's commitment to environmental protection and scientific research across Liberia. Addressing scores of newsmen and international partners during the dedication ceremony Wednesday in Monrovia, Vice President Jeremiah Cohn emphasized the importance of modernizing the Environmental Protection Agency infrastructure to better address current and future environmental challenges. According to Vice President Cohn, the EPA is the nation's environmental watchdog endured numerous challenges over the years, adding that those challenges have hindered its operations, which complied with environmental laws and standards. In what some legal analysts are calling a judicial standoff in the making, Liberia faces rising concerns over a potential constitutional clash with its highest court. At the center of the debate, President Joseph Boakai is reportedly preparing to commission newly confirmed Chief Justice Yami Gbese as the next Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, despite Chief Justice Sianin Yo still in office. Chief Justice Yo, who recently turned 70, is constitutionally permitted under Article 72B to remain seated in order to conclude cases she began during the March term of court. The clause of the Constitution gives her the authority to stay beyond the mandatory retirement age for that purpose. Dozens of occupants of Nipo Street in central Monrovia are left displaced as a result of government's recent massive demolition in the area. Newport and Randa Streets communities, with over 5,361 inhabitants and other areas in central Monrovia, have hugely been affected by the government demolition, as several structures, including homes and businesses, have been destroyed. Some of the displaced individuals who spoke to King's FM expressed deep frustration in the government, accusing it of demolishing their homes and businesses without prior notice to them to properly vacate the area. A local businessman identified as Alfred Saturday said prior to the demolition, the government, through the Ministry of Public Works, marked their structures but did not notify them about the demolition date, stating that they were taken by surprise. Mr. Saturday and others who claim of losing their properties and businesses are demanding resettlement from the government. Several others, including a health practitioner, Esther Hoya, also said she lives in the area for nearly 20 years, criticized the government's demolition, describing it as injustice and total abuse of the poor. Scores of debtors, including present and past government officials, are reportedly troubled by EcoBank Liberia Limited decision to delinquent creditors. Recently, the bank, through a board resolution, instructed Global Partners Associates Law Office to initiate legal proceedings on delinquent debtors to recover undue and delay loan payments obligation. As a result of the financial institution action, our judicial correspondent said some of the debtors, including present and past public officials as well as lawyers, were seen trooping to EcoBank Liberia Limited Central Office, apparently, to renegotiate their loan term payments. The intent of those debtors to hurriedly assemble at the bank central office in Monrovia was to avoid the confiscation of their properties. The bank is expected to begin confiscating delinquent debtors' properties at the time the country is about to observe its 178th Independence Day celebration on Saturday. And Executive Mansion Liberia has announced Reverend Emmett Lafayette Don as the official orator for Liberia's 178th Independence Day celebration to be held on July 26. Reverend Don is a pastor and an international Baptist with decades of spiritual leadership and a lifelong commitment to community development. He was ordained in 1987 at Providence Baptist Church and served as assistant minister and director of Christian education before departing for the United States in 1988 on a scholarship from the World Council of Churches. Reverend Don also holds a Bachelor of Theology from Liberia Baptist Theological Seminary, a graduate certificate from the Protestant Episcopal Seminary of Virginia, and a Master of Divinity from Howard University School of Divinity. Following Reverend Don's selection as the country's 178th Independence Day orator, noted that his selection underscores Liberia's recognition of its diaspora and the contribution of religious leaders to national unity and moral direction.
Sam and Juice with the news bulletin. The news bulletin is a regular feature on King's News Boom. A reminder you listen to King's News Boom 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Stories we follow in tonight. Bapolo County Senator Amara Coney accuses members of the executive branch of government of lack of tolerance and reconciliation. Says Liberian politics has become polarized under the Unity Party-led government. NATMO Partners Executive Director challenges President Joseph Boakai to present his government signature project to the public. The Jawolo claims for nearly 3 years the government is unable to initiate its own project. Ministry of Justice announces implementation of 25 years contract signed with Lebanese company Liberia Transport Management. The spark ongoing protest and abrupt shutdown of Ministry of Transport over disagreements. Away from home, an Ethiopian official has denied Donald Trump's claim that the United States helped fund Ethiopia's new mega dam on the Nile River, saying it is false and destructive. Sudan's oil-rich Kordofan region has turned into a major front line in the war between the army and rival paramilitary forces as both sides try to gain the upper hand in a conflict that has devastated the vast African state for more than 2 years. We take a break to be back with voices of the newsmakers. Welcome back and thanks for being there. Wapolu County Senator Amara Coney has attributed lack of tolerance to officials of the Unity Party-led government, adding that Liberian politics is becoming too polarized under the UP-led government. Senator Conan, who supported President Joseph Boakai during the 2023 election, appeared to be in disagreement with the government over what he termed as abrupt change of previously promised inclusive governance. According to him, the act of the government failing to give credit or acknowledge projects that were initiated by the Weah government and completed by the Wakakan government lacks a sense of reconciliation and promotion of continuity in national governance.
Our politics is becoming too polarized. Look at what's happening with the projects in Bon and Nima counties. Look at all this talk about who started it. But people forget that in 2018, the same thing happened when President Weah was dedicating projects here. Both sides trying to take credit for what and what. The EAWA role, and so on and so forth. Does it matter?
Certain rules in Nimba
Yeah,
County.
does it
in the
matter?
Southeast.
Does it matter at this point when we all say government is continuity and so on? Does it hurt that at these programs we can be honest and say we want to thank this president for initiating this? I want to thank my team for completing it. Wouldn't that be part of the reconciliation to close the gap? But when we polarize our politics and we don't think about its impact on those who elect us, I don't like that kind of game. And I'm beginning to see that our friends in the UP are becoming less tolerant. They were just in the opposition a few years ago, and some of them were maltreated, and all of us stood for them. How can you come in the government now and you try to do the same thing? For example, at the LTA, the old commissioners under the Weah regime were asked to resign to create space for these new commissioners to come in. Then all of a sudden, the new commissioners are being confirmed, but then there's a debate about whether they pay those old commissioners. That's wrong. We can't keep hurting each other every time we get power, and we just hurt each other in this country. We're just one people. If you made an agreement with them to step aside and you will pay them, pay them. Don't put them through that kind of stuff. So, I mean, where are we going? So this is where the whole idea of a third force is beginning to resonate with me, but I'm not there yet. I just hope that, all of my friends on both sides can see me as the black sheep. I'm an old cat in this politics.
Do you think
Wapodo County Senator Amara Conin, NAMO Partners for Democratic Development Executive Director Eddie Jawolo has challenged the United Party government to present its signature project, adding that for nearly 3 years in power, a signature project of the government is unknown. The NADMO executive director also urged the United Party government to improve transparency, accountability, and deliver concrete development outcomes.
But now this Unity Party get the opportunity. But what signature project can anyone say this is the Unity Party project? We ain't going to tell you. What is it? If you can't have that type of project, it's very difficult for you to succeed. Invest the money into that real national development, infrastructure development, better education, better healthcare, and then quite better for everybody. For politics, people just want better life. But if you go to the hospital, I almost lost a very close friend. Now, right now, I want to almost all the hospitals I put in each of the part in medical doctor. I have money in my pocket. So most they have a program. You go to the hospital and then most of the doctors go home. All the big hospitals about. By 12-1, you go there. Either there's no space or they put yourself on an emergency story home, taking a trip, and then the doctor can the next day. I'm not seeing it. And when the say that thing did, you want to communicate it. And nobody has seen the photo or the hospital back. The Emirates. Nobody even knew that our quota go all over the side, right? The campaign of the CDC was Joseph Baba City with that. Exactly.
Executive Director of NADMO Partners for Democratic Development, Eddie Jawolo, there speaking. Former representative candidate in District 16, Monserrado County, has called on President Joseph Boakai to halt the outsourcing of the vehicle registration from the Ministry of Transport to the Liberia Traffic Management. Achi Sanon emphasized the liberalization policy, stating that outsourcing the registration of vehicles to the foreign company constitutes the surrounding of $12 million United States dollars annually, or annual income to a foreign company, which will only give US $1.5 million in a year. He advised the government to avoid giving grants to individuals who are interested in enriching themselves at the detriment of the Liberian people.
As a patriot, one who has fought for social justice and liberalization policy and suppression, I have come to the realization that the traffic management contract that was signed, that all of my investigation have been proving that it was bogus against national interests, it's unpatriotic against liberalization policy as well. We have found out that certain group of public officials have been involved into the contract for personal interest, for share with our investment. That percentage will come as a result of exploiting the Liberian citizens. Transport Ministry generates 10 to 12 million per annum. In 25 years, that is 250 million. He brought in a contract and gave it to a foreign company against Liberian interests for 40 million for 25 years. So if you are to do the calculation, 25 years, 250 million, and 24 years, the country will be losing $210 million within 25 years. What sense does it make? Those are employed at Ministry of Transport. Some of them will be laid out. Can we take the presidency from our President Joe Biden, and give it to Lebanese? Absolutely not. Will he agree? No. Can we take the police director job and give it to for Governor Coma and give it to Lebanese? Absolutely not. Can we take the Justice Minister job and give it to take it from the Justice Minister and give it to Lebanese? Absolutely not. I will support that because I protect Liberian interests, because I am a patriot. If we can do that, why do we want to do it to our people who voted us? The president is doing some good things. Why is that there are some other things, bad things, but there are other people in government are doing it. He may not know, I don't know. But This has brought to my attention to allow him to be informed that this is going to tarnish his reputation when it comes to patriotism. He cannot take the transport ministry and offload it to foreign interests, security-wise, revenue-wise, and also employment issues. I stay on to appeal to the president to pull hard to this.
Hayes, former representative, candidate in District 16, Nosarado County, Achisano, that making his point on the ongoing saga involving the Ministry of Transport and the Lebanese company, Liberia Transport Management, in what some legal analysts are calling a judicial standoff in the making. Liberia faces rising concerns over a potential constitutional clash within its highest court. At the center of the debate, President Joseph Boakai is reportedly preparing to commission newly confirmed Chief Justice Yami Gbese. Here is a report from King's FM reporter Benjamin Johnson.
Liberia judiciary stand at a critical crossroad with growing fear of looming constitutional crisis. President Boakai is reportedly preparing to commission the newly confirmed Chief Justice Yamin Gbese as the new Chief Justice, despite the fact that the current Chief Justice, Siane G. Yoke, remained legally seated. Chief Justice Yoke, who turned 70 this year, is constitutionally allowed to continue serving in order to conclude cases she began during the National of Court. Article 72B of the Liberian Constitution permits judges to continue ruling on pending matters even after reaching the mandatory requirement age. In a statement addressed judges and magistrates, she reminded them in the nations of her constitutional authority. In other words, unquote, outgoing Chief Justice, you stated, I have not yet left office until August or thereabout. I remain the Chief Justice. I continue to hold the constitutional authority to relieve any judicial officers of their duty, and I will not hesitate to exercise that authority if necessary. Legal experts announced recent red flag warning that if early commissioning of the new Chief Justice while the current one remained seated could lead to two de facto Chief Justices, a situation that could, as one analyst put it, unquote, spark institutional chaos and erode public trust in the judiciary. Meanwhile, the president of the Liberian National Bar Association, Councillor Bono Vermont, has weighed in urging kind but with cautions. Councillor Vermont pointed to three key constitutional articles that govern these transitions. Article 72B, Article 54C.
Benjamin Johnson with that report. A reminder, you listen to King's Newsroom, 45-minute news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Stories we following tonight. Bapolo County Senator Amara Cohen accuses members of the executive branch of government of lack of tolerance and reconciliation. Says Liberian politics has become polarized under the Unity Party-led government. National Partners Executive Director challenges President Joseph Boakai to present his government's signature project to the public. Eddie Jawolo claims for nearly 3 years the government is unable to initiate its own project. Ministry of Justice announces implementation of 25 years contract signed with the Marines company, Liberia Transport Management despite ongoing protests and abrupt shutdown of Ministry of Transport over disagreements. Away from home, an Ethiopian official has denied Donald Trump's claim that the United States helped fund Ethiopia's new mega dam on the River Nile, saying it is false and destructive. Sudan's oil-rich Kordofan region has turned into a major front line in the war between the army and Rabbi paramilitary forces, as both sides try to gain the upper hand in a conflict that has devastated the vast African state for more than 2 years. We take Be great to continue with more voices. Welcome back and thanks for being there. The Environmental Protection Agency, in partnership with the U.S. government, has officially dedicated its newly renovated headquarters in Monrovia, reportedly valued at US 75,000. Authorities of the EPA have termed the renovated project as part of government's commitment to environmental protection and scientific research across Liberia. Addressing scores of newsmen and international partners during the dedication ceremony Wednesday in Monrovia, Vice President Jeremiah Kuhn emphasized the importance of modernizing the EPA's infrastructure to better address current and future environmental challenges.
Today is a proud and historic day, our nation's journey towards sustainable development, environmental stewardship, and scientific advancement. We gather not only to open a building, but to open a new chapter in Liberia's environmental development. A chapter rooted in integrity, efficiency, science, and national pride. The new headquarters of the EPA, in a modern scientific laboratory, we are unveiling today as symbols of the unveiling one of the investment channels. A future where development goes hand in hand with environmental protection, where public institutions lead by example, and where every Liberian, no matter their background, can live in a safe, clean, and resilient. For too long, the EPA, which is our national environmental watchdog, have been operating on an unacceptable condition. The agency was split two rented buildings, none of which comply with the very environmental laws standard EPA is taxed to enforce. This situation poses real challenges not just to the management coordination, but also to the credibility and public image.
Vice President Jeremiah Kone remarks the executive director of the Environmental Protection Agency, Emmanuel Yuri Yakbawolo, commended the U.S. government for its continuous support and commitment to the entity, describing the dedication of the new headquarters as a milestone achievement that will significantly strengthen the EPA's operational capacity.
The Vice President, senior members of the diplomatic corps, relevant partner, as the Chawase Grondo, EPA family, colleagues. In the right direction. Under the President guidance, they are witnessing new era of accountability, action, innovation, an era which institutions like the EPA are expected not only to regulate, but also to innovate. That is exactly what we are doing here. When we assume leadership of the Environmental Protection Agency, we realize the importance of listening, not just the policy document, but to the people who work in and with the EPA every single day. So we instituted a simple but powerful process. We opened two channels of communication, grievance box and an innovation box, to collect information on our employees and stakeholders. The messages were clear and concerning. Records share that they have no proper offices. The two buildings we rented not only lack functionality, but also fail to comply with our own environmental standards, a contradiction that undermines the very integrity of the agency. Others complain of the lack of transportation, which severely hamper our compliance and enforcement operation.
Environmental Protection Agency Executive Director Emmanuel Yuri Yakbawolo. Ella, you heard the voice of Vice President Jeremiah Kuhn speaking during the Environmental Protection Agency dedication of its newly renovated headquarters in Monrovia. Dozens of occupants of Nipo Street in central Monrovia are left displaced as the result of government's recent massive demolition exercise in the area. Nipo and Rana Streets community, with over 5,361 inhabitants, and other areas in central Monrovia have hugely been affected by government demolition exercise, as several structures, including homes and businesses, have been destroyed. Some of the displaced individuals who spoke to King's FM expressed deep frustration in the government, accusing the government of demolishing their homes and businesses without prior notice to have enabled them properly vacate the area.
To allow us to say, oh, this area is affected, it's part of the alley or whatsoever, then at least give us like maybe 2 months or 1 month or whatsoever, at least to even compensate us to move from the area before they come and do whatever they want to do there. They didn't do that. They just came, they took us unaware. My shop was broken, the whole house that I built, everything was broken. So I'm some kind of way frustrated. Right now, as I speak to you, I don't even have nowhere to go, me and my family.
So you
We're not notified far by the government. The project came on their own, they just carried out the project, they start busting the area. Right now, my brother, even right now, the money I want to pay from Brown to put in the business here. Right now, I'm on it, Brown, up to $1,000 US. So I don't even know how to pay that money right now. So I'm speaking to you. And the people being running behind me every day they run it behind me. Yesterday, they even called me off. I couldn't say I don't even have money. I've been to jail for more than 3.
before even they break this place, although they mark it, but they didn't come to notify us so period will come in to come demolish the place.
Wow.
And the people of them demolishing the place, they never disclose it to us. So we're in doubt. So all of a sudden we just see that they on a Saturday because me they say they swore and this is this and then they call us, you see standing or they beat us. It's sitting right on the sword. Like some of our own is not on the sword, but it was just near. But this building is sitting right on the sword. So everything was all damaged, even my medication, because the water flow in a lot and not build this thing on the road.
Okay.
The water flow in everybody's houses here, and they lose. Even one man they place with the umbrella, they may have a shop with everything, but the water flow in it damage everything. So up to this time, nobody has come. The man is repairing a building.
Some residents or some displaced residents of Maple Street in Central Monrovia there in conversation with King's FM. Away from home, an Ethiopian official has denied Donald Trump's claim that the United States helped fund Ethiopia's new mega dam on the River Nile, saying it is false and destructive. Last week, President Donald Trump said the controversial dam was built with United States money largely. Officially known as the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, the project is Africa's biggest hydroelectric plant and a major source of pride for Ethiopians. Over the 14 years it has taken to complete, the Ethiopian authorities have repeatedly said that the dam was funded by the government along with contributions from the European or Ethiopian people. And Sudan's oil-rich Kordofan region has turned into a major front line in the war between the army and rival paramilitary forces, as both sides try to gain the upper hand in a conflict that has devastated the vast African state for more than 2 years. Attacks that killed hundreds of civilians earlier this month have shifted attention to the battle for this part of the country. The region is also vital for landlocked South Sudan, as its oil flows through pipelines in Kordofan before being exported. However, the battle for the region, which is made up 3 states with a population of close to 8 million, has intensified since June, when the army focused on regaining the territory from the rapid support forces after it made significant gains in the preceding 3 months. Well, on that note, that's how we come to a near end of this edition of King's Newsroom. Before we leave, a quick reminder of stories we follow in the headlines. Bapolo County Senator Amara Conan accuses members of the executive branch of government of lack of tolerance and reconciliation. Says Liberian politics has become polarized under the Unity Party-led government. National Partners Executive Director challenges President Joseph Boakai to present his government signature project to the public. Eddie Jawolo claims for nearly 3 years the government is unable to initiate its own project. You also heard in the news, Ministry of Justice announces implementation of 25 years contract signed with the Nigerian company, Liberia Transport Management, to expert ongoing protests and abrupt shutdown of Ministry of Transport over disagreements. Away from home, an Ethiopian official has denied Donald Trump's claim that the United States helped fund Ethiopia's new mega dam on the River Nile, saying it is false and destructive. Sudan's oil-rich Khartoum region has turned into a major front line in the war between the army and rival paramilitary forces, as both sides try to gain the upward hand in a conflict that has devastated the vast African state for more than 2 years. Many thanks to our reporters for responding and all those who helped in making this edition of King's Newsroom a success. St. Andrews brought to the news bulletin. Frank Diallo Swain sat at control and handled the technical aspect of this issue. On behalf of the team, I'm Sherman Dale. I presented. Thanks for listening and watching.